What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Island Hopper TV, and today I'm going to make a video about safety in the Philippines. Why? Because this is a subject that comes up. This is a topic. This is a thing. And so in this video, we're going to talk about everything from natural disasters, okay, to general safety just on the streets. And let's get started. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is terrorism, the safety threat of terrorism, and the safety concerns associated with that. When I was in Mindanao, I actually went down to Davao, and there's an island, city paradise there called Samo Island. Some of you have probably already seen the video, Paradise Beach, Samo Island. Well, after I was there, I had discovered that there was actually an abduction of 2 Canadians and 1 Norwegian man in a Filipina at 11:30 at night. Their resort that they were at was sieged by a group called Abu Sayyaf. And that group is a known terrorist organization in Sulu, in southern Mindanao. And actually, there's western and southern Mindanao are considered off limits for foreigners. You cannot go down there. Foreigners do go down there. I would say that thankfully I didn't read about any of the stuff before I went down there, because I might not have been so interested to go all the way down to Mindanao had that been the case. But yeah, you can look it up. It is Mindanao, so that's an island you should stay away from, especially western and southern Mindanao. Davao City is considered safe, but all throughout the Philippines there is a risk of this abduction and for ransom, kidnapping for ransom. And so people are concerned about this. This is something you might want to look into. And typically if you are abducted or kidnapped, the governments don't pay the bounty for you because they don't want to encourage this kind of behavior, so therefore they don't bail you out. So that's something to consider. All right, next subject. Okay, so transportation using taxis or water transportation. For the most part, it is safe, but you want to make sure that you use a licensed, real legit company. Typically, I just recommend sticking with Grab. I've talked about Grab in Southeast Asia a couple times. They pay cash. That's the one that you're going to want to use anytime you're given an opportunity. Okay, so for the boat transportation, they do have ferries that go inter-island. You also take long-tail boats. Those are not going to be registered. I mean, anytime you get a chance to get into a registered operation, that's the best bet for you, because robberies and whatnot have been known to happen. They're rare, and I want to stress that overall the Philippines is a very friendly place, and the people are very friendly. This is not just, this is a video about safety, vigilance on your behalf. It's not to scare you, because the Philippines people, for the most part, are very, very friendly and generous and kind-hearted. But I'm just telling you, these are things that you should know about, and you don't want to be naive to it, although ignorance is bliss in some cases. So, yeah, let's move on to the next subject. Okay, so in the case of natural disasters, this is a big one. It's come up today. I mean, the longer you stay in the Philippines, the more you're going to have things like this pop up, where you're just going to be like, wow, there's quite a bit of different unique things that your first world comforts are null and void to when you're over here, and that is the threat of a natural disaster. Now, there's typhoons. This is a big one. When a typhoon comes, I mean, it can be very devastating. Okay, these are like hurricanes. The storms move quick and violent, and they can take out a lot. Airport air traffic can suffer. Your hotel's infrastructure can suffer, flooding. That's just one thing. Then there's earthquakes out here. They get a lot of earthquakes. What comes with earthquakes? Tsunamis and volcanoes. Right now, there is a volcano eruption currently occurring in Lake Taal, which is about 75 miles away from here. On the news this morning or last night, I was seeing massive plumes of eruption ash and whatnot falling, and they were calling it a Category 4 evacuation and devastation, which is a big, and that's a heavy advisory, a category 4, okay? So with that came the closure of Manila's airport. So no flights were coming in and out of Manila. We're still not out of the woods yet. I'm still here. I don't even know about a flight. I don't have a flight out of here because Manila's been closed. In fact, the flights to get out are way higher than they normally are. A flight that might cost $139 to go to Singapore right now is going for anywhere between $600 to $1,000. So in the event of natural disasters, if you need to have an escape, quick escape during an earthquake or a tsunami or a volcano eruption, it's a challenge, okay? I'm actually, the reason I'm going to Boracay is because of the difficulty with the international flights. It's easier to get a domestic flight right now, and I don't want to pay $600 to $700 for an international flight right now, so I'm going to Boracay. Hopefully in that time frame the volcano will cool down and everything will go back to normal, and then I can catch a regular flight and go on to the next destination. Also, I do need to go to Boracay because it is one of the places I've been trying to go. All right, so natural disasters are a thing. I mean, this is common here in the Philippines. I mean, you might want to do a little bit of research on the weather and the seismic activity in the regions that you plan to travel to, okay? So, next subject. Okay, so the next subject is food and beverage safety. So, water, for example. These are two things that have, in my opinion, been a health concern for me. Number one is ice. Ice, if it's not proper ice, clean ice in your drink, whether it be at the restaurant or whatever, you can get sick from the ice because it's the water. The water can make you sick. Also, when you're brushing your teeth, are you using that water? So what I do is I use the purified water to wash my toothbrush, okay? So washing your toothbrush with purified water is something you can do. I also have Listerine that I put on my toothbrush at the end because, I don't know if you know this, but in your little traveling case, wherever your toothbrush is, if the water is in there and it just stays stagnant in there, and then you put it in your mouth, you don't properly clean the toothbrush, that can carry bacteria from one, just from stagnation sitting in that plastic case, okay? That's something that can, sometimes people get a cough or some sort of throat irritation, it's from your toothbrush sometimes, okay? Now, we've already talked about the water. The tap water is just generally not safe. So when you're showering, keep that in mind, okay? That's not necessarily water that you should be drinking, and it might not be properly sanitized. So, the food, greens, any sort of vegetables can be a problem, okay? So if you get into a situation where you get, like we've talked about this in the Delhi belly or the Bali belly, which is where you get the runs, you get it in Thailand, you just get a fever and you need basically a thing of, what is it called, antibiotics. When you have to get antibiotics, you got to go through that because your body, most of you who are coming from out of the country aren't going to be used to the bacteria and stuff in the food and drinks. The longer you're here, the more you're going to be vulnerable to the different bacteria, okay? So the veggies, believe it or not, carry with it, especially the more organic stuff. A lot of people think, oh, I'm eating organic. Well, guess what's happening when you're eating organic? You're getting things like slugs and different like little bugs. So if you get in that situation over here, we call it the 7-Eleven diet, where you get those processed foods, you get the taquitos, you get the hot dogs, stuff like that. That's usually the safest play when you get into a situation where you're getting fever and whatnot, and you really want to avoid it. Even Mickey D's is a good option. A lot of these organic vegan types, they get in trouble out here because they try to eat so healthy, but they don't realize that there's a reason why they have those pesticides and whatnot. Even though those are not safe, I'm not saying those are safe, but food for thought for sure, because and it's well known by expats out here. It's called the 7-Eleven diet, okay? It's that processed food stuff. I know it's not the healthiest, but when you're over here and you're trying not to get sick and you're trying to heal up, there's your answer. So we just touched on food and beverage. That's a big thing that you're gonna have to be aware of. It's a thing. Veggies, really, you can get sick from the veggies. And street food too. I mean, eating street food is typically not advised anywhere. I don't know, I've probably been sick every time I travel to Southeast Asia. I get sick. So there you go. And the longer you're here, the more prone you're going to be to getting sick, and typically it's going to be that. I'll give you some other tips about things that can make you sick. When you're going to these massage parlors, a lot of people, they come here, they think, oh great, I'll get a massage. You know, so you're getting a massage. Well, what they do is they put you face down into a towel or onto something, but what they don't tell you is, what you need to find out is, did they clean that? Is that clean? Because there can be bacteria when you're putting your face into that, into the you know, the hole where you put your head into the towel. That can make you sick. I think that's probably the number one thing that people get sick of, that gets them sick, is dirty massage sheets and towels. And they might tell you, oh yeah, it's clean, but you got to really ask them. Okay, that's a big thing. So it's personal hygiene stuff. Also, whenever I get a haircut, I like to see that they're putting alcohol on to the razor or onto the clipper. You know, you want to see it. You want to ask them. I know it's kind of annoying, but that's what you got to do. Okay, so in terms of financial safety, so you know, you're going to have your credit cards. Anytime you get a chance to book through an app, that's what I recommend. So book through something like booking.com or hotels.com. Book your airfare through that. Get it all registered, proper booking number and confirmation. Anytime you can do a tour through TripAdvisor where you get some annotation that you're going to be traveling on that trip, you know, you want that paper trail to be in place, okay? Also, when you're going to the ATMs, I've had it happen, not necessarily so bad in the Philippines, but you know, you're gonna get charged like 30, sometimes it can be as high as $30 to $60, especially on this ATM called Euronet. Anytime you see a Euronet ATM, they charge you a transaction fee, but they also charge you an unfair conversion rate. So say the conversion rate is 50 pesos to $1, they might give you 42 pesos to $1. So if you're withdrawing 40, I don't know, say $200, think about how much money you're losing to them, sometimes up to $30 to $60 on a Euronet. So that's another thing. Credit card and debit cards, they don't really, it's mostly a cashless society. I mean, most of the Philippines is considered what they consider to be unbanked. So there's no real banks, credit card and whatnot here. At the end of the day, it's really a developing country. It's got, because of that, it's got a lot of perks, but it's also got some disadvantages and things that you may find to be inconvenient in your travels, but that's what the adventure is about. As long as you're safe, that's what's most important, right? Next one. In the event that you do rent a jet ski or whatever, just be aware of the, you know, where would you, if an accident happened, where would the hospital be? You know, where would the medical station be? You know, there's no such thing really as 911 here, but I've heard ambulances and stuff. But you know, if you're out riding a jet ski and you're having fun, but all of a sudden an accident happens, what are you going to do, right? Okay, that's a big deal. But if you're in a situation where you're driving or whatever and you're apprehended, you have to be able to provide some form of ID. So when you come into the country, you get a visa or you get a 30-day entrance. You have 30 days, okay? And then after that, you would have to re-up at immigration. Hello. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Hello. You feel okay? Okay. I hope you feel good. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Yeah. See, people just come up to you kind of like that, right? But, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, just basically, you know, have an ID, a form of ID on you. When you check into the hotel, you're going to need that. You're going to also do cash. You're going to drop off cash deposit. So it's really something to think about. Okay, and in summary, when you're coming to the Philippines, enjoy yourself. Philippines is fun. It is a place I've now been for, what, 14 days. It's my second time here. I've been to Mindanao, which I told you about earlier in the video. I've been to Luzon, Subic, Angeles, Makati, Manila, Boracay. I've been to Cebu City, Bohol, Panglao. Been across many of these islands. There's over 7,500 islands. Every place has very friendly people, okay? The central part of Philippines is considered probably the safest part, but enjoy yourself. I mean, enjoy the culture, enjoy the people. I know I went over some tough things, but these are things that you're better off being aware of and then just kind of going about your time and enjoying yourself, okay? I don't want you to live in fear when you come here. I don't want you to be scared, but I want you to be aware of some things that can happen, all right? It's just better that way. It's never fun to hear the negative of anything, but this stuff has to be said, and I said it. So anyways, guys, if you guys enjoy videos like this, please subscribe to Island Hopper TV, and we will see you on the next video. This is coming to you from Subic Bay in Luzon.